Hey everybody, welcome back to Cookie Gaming. Today we are playing more Pentiment. Last time we discovered more of the history of tossing with an eye towards making our mural, and we also talked to a bunch of the people in town. Today we will continue both of those quests. We made our way around a good section of town last time, but we still gotta check in with everybody we run into. Here's Carl. Good day to you. I was surprised almost everybody had something to say to us. Here we are in the Wrath House, where our mural will be. We still have to truly learn the history of the town before we can get into that. We have to check out the mine today, the old salt mine. So a lot to do. Let's check in with Baltus, who could perhaps help us down into the mine, though I'm not sure if I necessarily trust his inventions, but who knows? It's been 18 years. Whoa. Oh, this place has changed. Who the hell is this? Interesting. Things appear to have changed around here. Nazio? Ciao. Okay, and Italian. Baltus' workshop. I wonder if we can do another lesson soon. Okay, so we've been learning from Baltus. Look. Back when Andreas was here, I'm gonna be honest, Baltus was not the most practical inventor. No offense, Baltus, but, like I said, maybe things have changed. He's got this guy here, I don't know who this is, so, let's see. Magdalene. Yes? The cinnamon just arrived for the beer. Oh. You're making beer? Well, yes. The copper pots you helped me pipe are part of the process. Okay. I should have known that we'd be working with Baltus a lot as a tinkerer. Huh. It's for the Christmas celebration. Okay. Already, we're barely into November. Well, you know. The wheel of time stops for no man. But it's going to be wonderful. Cinnamon, coffee from Ethiopia, cow from the New World. My goodness. Okay, Baltus, you are getting goods from pretty wide and far. I mean, this is an era of increasing globalization and world trade, but we are still, if we're talking about the development of the modern world, we're still pretty early in that process. And to get your hands on all these things that Baltus has, that probably cost him a pretty penny. Jesus Christ, what's he saying? Jesus Christ, he who has the money can do everything. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's exactly what I was saying, right? To get the spices and the Ethiopian coffee and that type of stuff. All that's coming from far away. That's gonna take a lot of money. Problem? Of course not. It's your money. Who is this guy? Anyway, I'm quite excited about it. Clearly. As such, alchemy is not normally my strong suit. Right. And, you know, interestingly, we talk about alchemy during this time period. Of course, we're in the sort of, well, early, I guess almost at the mid-1500s at this point, given how many years it's been. What is it, 1543 was it? Yeah. This is no longer early 1500s, mid-1500s. We are really getting closer and closer to the scientific revolution, right? When we see that the modernization of a lot of these scientific disciplines throughout the end of this century into the 17th and 18th centuries. Although at that point you're touching on the Enlightenment anyway. We're getting close to the scientific revolution. At this time, alchemy is a combination of what we would see as sort of fake magical stuff, and some real chemistry. So there was some real science and chemistry contained within the alchemy of this time. Just, there was also a lot of stuff that we would not see as scientific today. And for all of Zaniu, I don't know how you pronounce it, Naziu, complaints about the cost, the base rye we're using is free. Really? Yes. The farmers had so much rye this year, they just couldn't use it all. Gret made as much bread with it as she could, but wound up having to throw a lot out. So why not make beer? Why not? Thank you. Do you know a tossing salt mine? I need to find a way in. Any chance you could help me? To get into the salt mine, yes? You must be on quite the adventure. Ideally, we could rig up a double pulley system to lower and raise yourself in the shaft. But that might take a while. Well, I'd like to go in today if possible. Of course, of course. Would a good length of rope suffice? You could brace against the wall of the mine shaft. Are you strong enough to support your own weight? Against the wall? I think so. Excellent! Yeah, I mean, all we really need is a length of rope. Thank you, Baltus. Of course, of course. Here you go. Do be careful, though. Make sure the ropes are secure. I mean, we definitely shouldn't do this alone, but Till agreed to help us, and we're gonna talk to Apollo and Artemis and see if they can help us, too. Good luck, Magdalene. Interesting. Gnazio. I guess he's meant to be Italian. I've just never seen that name before. Maybe I'm just unfamiliar with a common Italian name, but unfamiliar to me. The doctor's house? He's not here right now. Good. Frankly, I'd rather not chat with him anyway. He's a bit of an unpleasant fellow, I'm afraid to say. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ, Agnes is still here. Good morning, Magdalene. Brisk weather today, innit? And still, Kraft is out there, working with Father Thomas to repair the church. So he took over from Lucky. I worry about that boy sometimes. He works the stone, but I'm not always sure he has his mind set on it. Oh, my goodness. He's working hard to mend the holes his father made in tossing. Masonry's a good trade. Everyone needs a stonemason now and then to repair things. That they do. Lucky always harped on about how being an honest and trustworthy is the most valuable currency. Well, I'm not sure he was either of those things, but alright. How in this life, hard work and reputation matter the most. Kraft has taken that to heart, I think. He does a lot of good for the town. I've offered to find an apprenticeship for him, but he won't make his damn mind up. He deserves a chance at the life he wants. He's lived in his father's shadow for too long. Wow. Well, that's a forward-looking way of seeing this. You know, I mean, typically the life path at this time was just to take over from whatever your father did or your parents did before you. But she wants Kraft to have a chance at doing something else. He's a good man, Agnes. You should be proud. Thank you, Magdalene. I've done my best for my household, despite what's happened in the past few decades. Oh well, you didn't come here to hear me ramble on about my family. What can I do for you? I thought you might have some additional remedies for my father. Right! Agnes was mentioned earlier that she might be able to do a better job than Werner Stolz. Are Werner's not enough? I understand Klaus's condition is dire, but I thought Werner would be able to provide something. Dr. Stolz has been less than reliable. Ah. I can't imagine he'd provide any help whatsoever at the moment. The bastard's made a mess of himself these past few years. Yeah, we've heard this before. The doctor, who already was a pretty nasty guy 20 years ago, apparently he's really fallen into the gutter as of late. I don't pity the man, though. He's done this to himself. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always some degree of pity for people, but it does seem like this is mainly self-inflicted. Due to perhaps his large ego. Let me see what I can whip up. I can't promise anything, but God willing, I pray it provides some small help. Thank you, Agnes. Of course, Magdalene. Take care. Alright, well I'm glad I stopped here then. Definitely worthwhile. Let's check in with Kraft. Alright, busy at work, I see. Here, let's see if we can give those meds to Klaus. I know that we have to sit down and read Historia Tossing at some point. I don't know where we're meant to read it. Alright. Oh. Okay. Nothing yet. Alright. Well, we'll keep going through town then. I'm trying to remember. We've got a rope now, by the way. What did we check last time? Did we go up to the mill? I'm not quite sure. Oh. Yep. Hello, Father Thomas. Oh, God bless you, Magdalene. And you, Father Thomas? You look troubled. What's the matter? I seem to have lost the key to the tabernacle. Uh-oh. Without it, we'd have to go without the Eucharist on Sunday. I know what the Eucharist is, but one of the rare instances where I actually know something religious. The consecrated elements of communion, also called the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion. In Catholicism, the Eucharist refers to the bread and wine after they have been transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ. The body and the blood. I'm sure I could find a way to get the tabernacle open. The lock shouldn't be that complex. Absolutely not. I won't have you picking your way into the tabernacle. Even for a righteous purpose, I don't like the prospect of it. And why on earth do you know how to pick locks, Magdalene? Well, to stop me. Sometimes the mechanisms in his inventions get stuck. I have to fix them. Huh. I suppose that makes sense. Use that talent wisely, Mistress Druckerin. I'll use it however I want, Father. Regardless, I won't have you forcing your way into the tabernacle. I'll have to find that key eventually. I won't leave tossing sanctification at risk. Well, I'll keep an eye out for it. Thank you, Magdalene. Please let me know if you have any ideas as to where it might be. God bless you. Where on earth could you have put it, man? Oh, hey. Wonder if Sister Amelie's seen the tabernacle key anywhere. Well, I don't know if I'm surprised she's still here, but she's still here. I mean, and by still here, I didn't think she'd go anywhere. I just meant that she hasn't passed away. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Sister Amelie. What brings you to the church this time of day? Lighting another votive candle for your father. Small candles lit during prayer in churches, symbolizing a specific offering or request on the behalf of the prayer giver. Votive. I was hoping to speak with you, sister. Have you seen Father Thomas's tabernacle key anywhere? He's misplaced it. I'm afraid I have not. Everything in the church has been as it should be. Though I did hear the two Gertner children come in last evening. Apparently these two are always up to some mischief. I did not rise, but I heard their whispering for a moment. They left as suddenly as they came. So I believe we heard that those two are in the forest. We need to talk to them about the mine, but I think we're about to get another reason to talk to them. Why didn't you say anything? I didn't think anything of it. Many people come into the church throughout the week. This is a sacred space, and the people of Tossing respect it as such. They respect my privacy in this place, and I respect theirs. I see. I've seen the twins come into confession more than most of the young folk in Tossing. Their intentions last night may have been pure. Maybe. If not, however, it would be Christian to remind them that theft is against the Lord's commandments. Well, I'm not quite sure why they take the key anyway. Of course, I might go have a chat with them. I advise that you do what you feel is right in your heart. Well, thank you, sister. God bless you. These sneaky, sneaky siblings. I'll go talk with them before I talk to Thomas about it. I can't remember if we've checked up here yet. Oh, Ursula! And Fabian! Hello, you two. My goodness, it is strange to see Ursula fully grown. Ursula and Fabian. Alright, nothing to say, but those two are out here. They seem to have their little farm, I suppose. We stopped by here before. Just maybe not. Hey, the hobby horses. Ah, and the drawings over there. That's good to see. Well, the house is looking very nice. You can see the artistic touches. Perhaps from Paul. Paul, you're in a standoff with your dog. What's happening? Good morning, Magdalene. How's the mural coming along? Well, I think I'm off to start the first part of the mural today. I'll paint the founding of Tossing and the Romans. Well, you won't want for any models. Tossing is littered with Roman ruins. It's almost a nuisance. Well, a lot of these towns would end up knocking down or even just building around those Roman ruins as they developed through the years. What sort of mural are you creating, Magdalene? I believe Klaus was planning on a fresco. Oh my goodness. This seems like the most professional answer. Well, I'll start with the intonatio, and then paint the fresco over it so that I have a clear consistency. Ah, I see. You have enough plaster? The Rathaus wall is so large, I was worried it wouldn't stay wet for long. Since when did the town miller know so much about art? Well, let me tell you about one Andreas Mahler. It's been an interest of mine since childhood, but my father disapproved. After my mother and I left Tossing, we stayed with her family for a few months before we heard what happened. Oh, wow. Stayed with her family for a few months before we heard what happened, so it took a while for information to get to them. This is interesting because these are the type of things that I was curious about when we skipped 20 years in the future. Your father's friend, Andreas, he encouraged me to draw. That's right, we did. While we were away, I studied in my uncle's library. I've collected books about various art styles since we returned. That sounds like it was a difficult time to live through. It was. Honestly, it's thanks to Andreas that I had the courage to come back. We did some good, folks. We made some mistakes. Maybe some things weren't done perfectly. I'll admit to that, but we definitely did some things right. And, young Paul here. He encouraged me when no one else did. See, that's what I wanted to do. Give Paul some encouragement. I'm glad. I was so young then. Funny how much of an impact someone can make on your life in so small a time. Ah, well, anyway, I'm glad the mural's going well. Forgive my sudden questioning about it. I've been so busy preparing for the council's next meeting, I haven't had as much time with Anna as usual. She says I get a bit frantic when I'm overwhelmed. Is the council working on something new? We're considering yearly maintenance checks on every house in Tossing. Oh, yes. I heard about that from Big Jorg. The idea's had quite a bit more pushback than we'd anticipated. It's not that surprising. I can understand the utility of the proposition, but it might feel like a nuisance. Precisely. That's the issue we've run into. This would help protect those in Tossing who don't have the skill to fix things themselves. Widows like Agnes or Gret. Yeah, but... Look, I'm not opposed to them trying some new things here, but if widows like Agnes or Gret have a problem, can't they just ask you guys to come help, right? I'm not sure the yearly maintenance check is really worthwhile, and I think for most people, this would be more of an annoyance. Can't you make it an opt-in kind of thing? Like, hey, if you'd like, if you're someone who maybe needs some help, we can come round once a year or however often, make sure things are alright, and help you fix them up if they're not. I don't know about why you gotta go around checking everybody's house. But without instituting it for the whole town, we can't enforce the proposition. Yes, I would say just make it voluntary. That's my take. In any case, the matter is far from resolved. I imagine spring will come before anything's actually done. I'd better get back to work. Thank you for letting me interrupt your day, Magdalene. God bless you. Until later, Paul. Suba? I don't know how the U's meant to be pronounced. Folks, you always gotta pet the dog. That's a valuable lesson to learn in life. Oh. Snow's creeping down the mountains. Winter will be here soon. Can we, I always forget how to get down to the ruins. Oh, interesting. Right, we gotta talk to the to Smokey as well. Yeah, the ruins are off the mill, right? Give me a second. Can we go to the ruins? Please and thank you. How do we get to the ruins? What's happening? My ruin access been cut off? You know, we're interested in the history. It would be somewhat useful to actually, you know, get to go down there. I guess not. Huh. What happened? We got our old ruin access cut off. Oh well. Maybe we'll find our way down there some other way. Alright, let's head into the forest. Now, we were told to be careful, because apparently some of the Lord's men may be around. Which, makes a lot of sense, given that's what a large part of the revolt was about. Alright. Voxslav is back. Hello! Is there something I can do for you? Knives need sharpening? I'm Magdalene Druckerin. Are you a friend of Smokey's? I'd like to think so. I'm Vaxslav, or Vaxslaw. I'm a tinker. Well, I'm a tinkerer. Travel around and help people out with sharpening knives, little things like that. Druckerin. Are you a printer's daughter? Oh, I like that. I can say, my father's a printer, I'm the printer, or we're both printers. I'll say my father and I are both printers. Do you sample the wares much? As often as I can. Vaxslav, don't. You're gonna get in trouble again. Trouble from me? No, not you, Mistress Druckerin. This one can't help but talk to people about all the strange things he believes. Oh, right. Now, you brought that up with Andreas many years ago. It's been decades at this point. He reads all sorts of books, talks to odd folks, gets ideas brewing in his head. Now, that doesn't bother old Smokey none. Bothers some other people a whole lot. Doesn't bother me any. Well, if it doesn't bother you, and it doesn't bother old Smokey, sounds like there's nothing to worry about. Fine, you get run out of here again, don't blame me. Is that what happened the first time? Smokey sort of disappeared, and I wasn't quite sure where he'd gone. Whoops, I recorded about a minute of video with no audio, but that's not a problem. Basically, Vaxslaw is just saying he got run out of town because he was basically questioning the Holy Communion. As he says, more and more people are writing about rejecting transubstantiation. The idea that the bread and wine of Eucharist literally becomes the body and blood of Christ. He's a Protestant. Here we go. Yes? Well, there are two ways to look at it. The first is on the grounds that Wycliffe and Huss rejected it. Oh my goodness. This guy is, he's pretty well read. He's pretty well read about religious disputes even prior to the time of Martin Luther. Using our eyes, our senses, there is nothing perceptible that changes in the character of the bread and wine. I mean, look, personally, you guys probably picked up, I'm not religious myself, so I really don't have a dog in this fight, you know what I mean? Must our senses necessarily encompass all of God's miracles for them to be real? No, not at all, but for what reason would He place them outside of the compass of our understanding? As an act of faith, blessed are those who believe but have not seen. But if that is the case, of what importance is the material composition of the host? Even if the bread and wine turn to Christ's body and blood, why is that necessary for spiritual communion? We are bound by flesh, attempting to reunite with the light of God through the Eucharist. Yeah, and these, I mean, this is fascinating, you know, that we're talking about this. At this point, you know, Reformation's fully kicked off. We are a couple decades in, right? And these were the type of questions that really got people going at that time. The question of Holy Communion, the transubstantiation, is it literal? Is it not? These are the things that people were up in arms about. Sometimes literally up in arms, right? So these disputes were serious and could even lead to violence. And sometimes pretty mass scales of violence. So these were very legitimate debates that Christians were having. The act, the observance, unites our will with that of Christ. He is present in us through the remembrance, not the physical act. You following this, Smokey? Absolutely not. And that's what I'll say if any inquisitors come around. Yeah, that's the right attitude, Smokey. I didn't even know what he was talking about. Because it's not good enough to say, I understood and I disagree, because they'll say, why did you not report him? You have to say, I didn't understand, I didn't know what he was talking about. Are you ready to hear why it's important to disbelieve in transubstantiation? Sure. I'll admit, I hope for some more enthusiasm regarding the fate of our souls, but alright. This all starts with Lucifer creating the world. Oh my. Jesus Christ. We'll get to him. God was the world, and the world was truth, and truth is light. The light is God's will. God's light contained aspects, what we consider angels, facets of His infinite intellect. One of these aspects separated itself from His intellect and manifested in the darkness as the corrupt will, Lucifer. But what power could a portion of God's will separate from the whole? The will moved itself. God's intellect, being infinite, also contains the capacity to transcend the infinite. To exist outside of the boundaries of God's infinite light, the corrupt will brought into being an equally infinite darkness. Within that darkness, Lucifer cast his false light, a corrupted imitation of the divine intellect, to create the world. All material in our world is inherently a corrupted manifestation of that false light. Wow, I mean, it's definitely an interesting perspective. I do wonder how that leads you to live your life. I'm not, I know a bit about the religious debates of the era, but I couldn't tell you how much this is specific to our friend here, or, where his particular ideas come from. He mentioned Wycliffe and Jan Hus. Martin Luther hasn't been mentioned, but we're in the Reformation era, so I'm sure these ideas have a root somewhere, but I'm not well read enough to actually tell you where. We still have a connection to God through our intellect, but it is flawed by existing in our physical bodies. I mean, there were a lot of questions at the time about sort of faith versus, worldly matters, the world, right? I mean, there's the question of faith versus works, are you a good Christian? Do you go to heaven through faith and works, or just faith? Faith alone, right? Are works important? Does the material matter? Or is it entirely immaterial, spiritual, right? And these are questions that I think a lot of religious people, whether Christian or not, still wrestle with today in one way or another. But you still believe we can be redeemed through Christ, right? Well, of course. Finally, some sense. But not in the way that you think. Uh-oh. Of course not. The way to be redeemed is to reunite our will with God's. How do you know God's will? But how do you do that? Regular prayer, abstention from material desires, sublimation, and elimination of want. I was gonna say, that just sounds like being a monk. That's what I was thinking, Smokey. No. Priests and monks both are corrupt agents of the business of the church. It depends on which priests and monks you're talking about. Now, it is true that the church was a massive landowner in medieval Europe, and even after the time of the Middle Ages, which means the church was making a lot of money, right? So you can look at some examples of particular churches owning land in local communities, or abbeys, right, with the case of Kearsarge Abbey, and you can find a lot of examples of corruption, scheming, money-making, but, you can also find a lot of examples of priests and monks and religious figures who were genuine in their beliefs and were looking either to tend to their own religious needs or tend to the religious needs of the community. I think there's a good point to make that the hierarchy or the system of the church was pretty corruptible, and of course that's what a lot of people like Martin Luther were upset about. A lot of these Protestants or burgeoning Protestants at this time. They have taken the simplicity of holy devotion and profaned it with pageantry. The saints too. All this talk of merits and satya and miracles, they're just stories. Yeah, and this question of idolatry. The thing is, people, they like having idols. I know some people don't like to hear that, but, whether you're talking about pagan religions or sort of local spiritualism or even Christianity, these local communities like to have their saints. It's almost a sort of a replacement for the spirits or gods they might have talked about in pre-Christian times. They like these things. But, of course, some people feel that this is all very idolatrous and is not in line with true Christian belief. Once again, there's a whole lot of debate and conversation here. The church has led people astray, put the hope of people in meaningless rituals, faith and relics. I can see why you don't go into town very much. No one really wants me in town anyway. They want me to fix their knives and their pots and little things and be on my way. That's fine with me. I've seen so much of the world, learned so many things. I've made so many friends that I hope I'll see if I come their way. Anyway, thank you for indulging me, Magdalene. Of course. Until later. Until then. I didn't really take a position there. It's maybe a bit much. And also, kind of dangerous to absorb those types of beliefs at this time, at least depending on where you are. Good day, Mistress Druckerin. Good day, old Smokey. I've told you, Smokey, call me Magdalene. Huh. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you to my corner of the woods? More gossip? Oh my. That's funny. Oh, wow. Yes, actually, but first, I wanted to ask you about the old salt mines. The mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the townsfolk trek out there as much anymore. Last I saw were those two twins making trouble. Well, I'm looking for them. They know a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? The mural in the Rath House needs a section about the earliest days of tossing. The mines are the oldest part of tossing, and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting down into the mines, but I do know a few fair stories about them and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories my father used to tell me when he was the burner of Tossing. Ah, okay, so you took over your father's position. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's what most people did. The one about Mars and Tassia. The nymph was always my favorite, though I blame that on my youth. Tassia, like tossing? Mm-hmm. Folk named the town after a pagan god, a Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. Oh, count me curious. Ha! I won't be scandalizing you. Can't have your father hounding me for any coarseness. But I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. Right, what's the story? Well, legend says that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. The god of war. Oh, we must have had that long ago. He just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off, and the god was angry at the loss of his quarry. You don't want to make Mars, or his Greek equivalent Ares, angry. You'll be in for it. So we tramped through the woods to see why a woman was in the forest, and not in the local town. But I go into the forest all the time. Yes, but those were the old woods, Magdalene. The wilds, where spirits and ghosts prowled. What do you mean, prowled? I know our Magdalene is a fact-based individual. She's an empiricist, but, you know, we want to learn about the old mythical tales. There's no point being like, tell me the facts, Smokey. It's like, well, he's telling us about the sort of mythical history of the area, which is not real history, but it's important to learn about what people believe about, you know, mythology and those types of things. Prowls, you know, like spirits and other evil things do. I can't just say they walked through the woods like you or me, they prowled. Well, it makes the story more interesting. Alright, keep going. So, Mars found a nymph, Tassia, bathing in a spring with a fat, ugly satyr goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well... yeah, I got you. Tassia bathed the god. I get it, they bathed. I did warn you, Magdalene. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground and it blossomed with flowers and crops. You know, so a point this just makes me want to put forward is that, I mean, Smokey is trying to sort of step around the indecent stuff, but he's still basically saying it, if not hinting at it. I feel sometimes people have this belief that, you know, throughout history, people were, they were so precious about the indecent stuff and about sex and nudity and all that type of things. But oftentimes that was not true. In fact, you know, before the modern era, privacy was really not as much a thing as we know today. Families often lived in one big room. The houses in Tossing are pretty nice. A lot of people did not live that way. You know, the type of modesty that a lot of us practice today, in some ways, was a little different back then. Now, of course, yes, there was still this idea that people should cover up, especially women, and, you know, there was definitely... people were pretty concerned about decency and being Christian, but people have always been indecent throughout history, you know? Don't think people back then were so different from people now. And also, a lot of the, like, extreme modesty that people sort of imagine today, I'd associate more with, like, Victorian England, you know? A lot of that was very buttoned up, in a way that even medieval people were not, you know? So, just you know, an interesting point. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground, and it blossomed with flowers and crops. They say that's why this valley's so fertile. Oh my. We've been growing crops here for generations. People would want a reason for that, even if it was the gods. Whatever the reason, Tossing's been blessed with fertile ground for hundreds of years. So, what you're telling me is that tossing was fertile in more than one way. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. You can never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. I wonder if we could... I mean, how racy could we make the mural? Because we could straight up do something that is real inappropriate. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind, too. The town is more Roman than Bavarian, really. Interesting. Different responses here. I can't believe this is the first time we've seen Holy Roman Empire. Which we all know, but I always enjoy the descriptions they give. The largest and most powerful European state in its time. Well, which time are we talking about? Because the Holy Roman Empire existed for a long time, and it was not always the most powerful European state. In fact, I would say the time that Magdalene is living through is a time when the Holy Roman Empire would become profoundly weakened. When you look throughout the 15 and 1600s, with the wars of religion, the 30 Years' War, in particular, which really capped it all off, Westphalia, Augsburg, these things, they led to a Holy Roman Empire that was even less centralized than it was before, and already was not very centralized, and where the authorities had even less power than they had previously. And, you know, by the time you get to the 17th, 18th, even the early 19th century, of course, the Holy Roman Empire ends in the early 19th century with Napoleon's conquests, but when you get into those last couple hundred years, this empire is truly a shadow of its former self. I mean, the famous Voltaire quote is something like, the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy, nor Roman, nor an empire, which is really becoming true in this time. The largest, most powerful, yes, the Holy Roman Empire was made up of many peoples and suffered from much internal strife during the Reformation. It's exactly what I was talking about, despite Emperor Maximilian's firm hand over the land. Well, we are a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Haha, that we are, and not for a lack of trying. Tossing is actually much smaller now than it was in the Romans' day. At least that's what I can make of it. The ruins go deep into the forest, and all the way to the old mine. Half of Tossing's built on Roman stone. Take a walk around the town, and you'll start noticing things. We used their stone to build. The old temple by Satia's shrine has grown over, but the aqueduct runs for miles. Andreas had to literally uncover all of this like it was a mystery. But Smokey knew. Even the abbey used to be an old Roman fort. You can see some of the Roman pavestones under the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, but this town is. No. I mean, as a history guy, I can't agree with that. Tossing has been building upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. Yeah, I mean, when you look at anywhere where there's been settlement for, I don't know, more than a few generations, what you'll see is that you'll find layers of history, right? Which is useful for historians and, of course, our archaeologists. Some places more than others. But when you look at a lot of these European communities, you have your modern architecture built on top of Roman stuff, and the Roman stuff may have been built on top of something else, right? You know, if you look at a place like Istanbul, right, Constantinople, it's a good example of this, where you see the modern Turkish architecture, which is, and when I say on top, like, sometimes things are demolished, but oftentimes, you literally will be building on top of previous foundations, things will be remodeled, right? So, the example of Istanbul, you've got modern Turkish architecture built on top of Ottoman architecture, on top of sort of Greek Byzantine architecture, on top of old Roman architecture. You know, it goes layer after layer after layer, and you can really see the history of a community through those different, you know, layers, sometimes literal layers. If you're looking at the soil, you will find literal layers of history, and sometimes I'm being a bit more figurative with the layers of history. That's the way of things, and most people don't notice the old stones, too busy in town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Maybe I should go take a look at the mine. I'd get a better sense of what things were actually like. Nothing will stop you, I see. Well, I won't either. Just keep an eye for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, huh? I'll let you know if I see any. Thanks for your help. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. Alright. Well, that was definitely a worthwhile stop. Let's find the twins. Hoping... Oh, there they are. Well, one of them. I'm still hoping we can head down to the ruins at some point. Hey, Magdalene. Hello, Apollo. What are you doing? Looking for frogs. Artemis says she saw one the other day, and we're trying to collect a bunch. Frogs don't come out at this time of year. How do you know? Artemis said she saw one. I read, Apollo. Try it sometime. Lay off, Mags. I'm too busy to read. What do you need the frogs for? Like I'll tell you, you'll snitch. I won't. Yeah, right. Sorry, Mags. I'm not telling. You just have to wait and see. Or ask Artemis. Maybe she'll tell you. Fine. I'll go talk to your sister. But be careful. Oh, this is good. But be careful. You've already had to go to confession this year. Oh, we know. Great Frog Plague of 1543. Interesting little subtitle there. Is this Artemis? Yes, it is. What on earth are you guys doing? Oh, hey, Magdalene. Do you need something? I'm a little busy right now. Still catching frogs? Damn it, Apollo. He can't keep his fat mouth shut. What do you want, Magdalene? Are you guys mischievous or are you assholes? There could be a thin line between those two. I want to see what our forefathers and the Romans left behind. It's for the mural. Mural? You want to use our secret hideout for your mural? I want to see if they left anything down there I could use as a reference. You're really into that whole Wrath House project, aren't you? What are these guys supposed to be? I guess they're younger than us, just given the timeline we know. But I'm not quite sure how old we are. Well, it was, what, 18 years? So Magdalene's probably in, like, her early, mid-20s, I guess? So are these guys... Are they teenagers still? They seem... They're like young adults, I guess. They're pretty immature is the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to work out if they're really immature for their age or just a little bit. Why should I show you how to get in? I know you... Yeah, should we use our leverage? Fuck it. I know you took Father Thomas's tabernacle key. I won't tell him if you show me how to get in the mine. No deal. Look, I'll show you how to get into the mine on one condition. Okay. Well, that didn't work, but... You help Apollo and me with our next prank. No telling, no snitching, no questions. Fine. Father Thomas has been droning on and on about the plagues of Egypt, right? Apollo and I are collecting frogs to hide in the tabernacle. Oh, when Father Thomas opens it on Sunday, frogs will go everywhere. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of funny. Okay. I'm just calling them immature. I'm just as bad. I can't wait to see Father Thomas's face if you can get away with it. He'll never expect to summon frogs in his sermon on the Egyptian plagues. It's the perfect plan. It's a pretty good plan. So what do you want me to do? We stole the tabernacle key, but we need to put it back before he notices. Sister well, let's not throw her under the bus. You want me to put the key back? Precisely. Look, we stole the key early to make sure it was the right one. We'll steal it again once we actually stuff the frogs in there, but in the meantime, it needs to go back. I need you to replace the key on the altar in the church. Apollo and I would attract too much attention, but you're the town's goody-goody. Excuse me. I'm not. I'm just a better sneak than you. That's bullshit, and you know it. Anyway, will you do it? I'll get you into the mine if you do. I need a way to get into the mine, but this seems risky. don't know, it seems kind of harmless. Father Thomas will be missing his key, too. Going along with this can't cause that much trouble, can it? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Look, okay? With Andreas, I tried to make good decisions, and they often didn't pan out. I'm done making good decisions. We're making bad decisions now. We still can't go into the old, well, the old ruin aqueduct section. Alright, well, let's go take a look at the mine ourselves first. I still would rather not get myself in trouble. A pig? Out here? Must have broken out of its pen. I wonder who it belongs to. I don't know. No one's asked about a pig. Oh. Baltus gave me this rope to climb down, but it might take a while. Should I go now? Not right now. Well, I thought that, okay. If I can get Till... Okay, I do not want to put that rope up and then climb down myself, because we are gonna... That rope is definitely gonna fall, and we're gonna get stuck down there. I can bet you that. I just know. If I can get Till to... Because he promised he'd help, right? If he'll help us climb down, then I'll do it with him instead of participating in this stupid scheme. But if I can't, then we're gonna have to help them with their prank. But, you know, even though I said we're making bad decisions, maybe I'll go back on that a little bit. I'd still rather not get myself in so much trouble. Hey, Till, come help me out. No? What? And then we're gonna have to go with the twins' plan then, right? I mean, this is legit what I said earlier, which is... If we're gonna go down with the rope, we need someone else. Interesting. Okay. Otz? You know Otz would help. Come on. If we asked him, he'd do anything. Well, I guess I'm not left with other options then. Although I do wonder whose pig that was. Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Hans. How you doing? Fine enough? Weather's getting colder? The family? Healthy and hard-working? Simon's taking care of the winter provisions? I was gonna ask him about the pig. I didn't think we'd get into a conversation. Yeah, Yutta's doing well. Just like your mother. She's a miracle. Well, that's nice. To marry a good man soon, I'm sure. You have someone in mind? That young Otz is a good man, I've noticed. He's solid enough. Takes after his father. All the same, when Yutta has children one day, they'll be beautiful and kind like their mother. There are worse things to be, I guess. You gave yourself a little credit. Kind of you to say, Magdalene. I should get back to it. Okay. Yeah, what? I know the Gertners had pigs. I guess I'll talk to Big Yorg about it. Nope. Guys, I'm trying to act on my own initiative, but it's not quite panning out here. Anyone want to talk about pigs? Maybe Ursula and Florian? Is it even worth going to check? I'm not sure. Or maybe fake Martin. Yeah, they don't have pigs. Does Martin have pigs? Oh, he does. Uh-huh. He doesn't want to talk either. Okay, never mind then. Alright, screw it. We're gonna do this scheme with the tabernacle. The only thing is I'm pretty sure Amelie's gonna see us. Well, I mean, come on. You think... I'm pretty sure... Alright. Amelie! You know, she's not invested in this material world, but now more than once, whether Magdalene or Andreas, she has spilled the beans about what's happening in town. So I think she's a little more invested in our material world than she pretends to be. Which is not, I mean, it's not a bad thing. How's your errand going? I did it. I left the key where Father Thomas would find it. Brilliant. Alright, as promised, Apollo and I will show you how to get into the mine. Follow me. Are you sure you want to do this, Magdalene? There's some creepy things down there. Who knows how many people have died in those mines? Right, it's probably haunted. You should back out now, while you still can. Grow up. You're such a grown-up, why'd you come to us for help? Right. Are you gonna help me or not? Yes. It's not that bad, as long as you know where to put your feet. We do it all the time. Come on, let's get on with it. I don't want to get in trouble again. Fine, fine. Start with your feet. What? Wait a minute. What? This is even worse than just using a rope. I have a rope. I wanted to use the rope. I just wanted someone else with me. Start with your feet on the inner ledge, Magdalene, and then look for the ledges that look like shelves. No, wait. Just use the rope, Magdalene. Alright, here goes. Wait, just use the rope. What is happening? I just... Oh my god. Don't forget to move your hands down before your feet so you don't slip. Hike your skirt a little bit so you don't get it caught too. It's easier that way. Wait, the missing rung. Oh right, there's a missing rung near the bottom. Watch your step or you'll fall. Like this idiot. Why'd you have to say that? Why do you also have to embarrass me? Alright, I got it. Thanks. Okay, no rope. Interesting. If I'd known this was the option, I would have just used the damn rope. All I wanted was someone to watch the rope while I went down there. Oh well. What's done is done. Well, that was easy enough. I did it. I'm at the bottom. Good job, Magdalene. Good luck doing whatever you're doing down there. Hope you don't die. Climbing out might be trickier. Oh well, time to take a look around. Yeah, well, might have been easier if you'd put the rope up, Magdalene. Come on now. Yeah. Y'all, speaking from experience, flint and steel is much harder to get going than that. Although, some people have a real knack for it. But, I mean, typically, you'll need something... Well, whatever. That's not get into the intricacies of flint and steel, but if you're making a fire, you'll need to... Usually, to light something flammable with the flint and steel, and then use that to light, you know, your candle, your fire, whatever you're lighting. There are a lot of different coins down here. How odd. It's not like this is a saint's well. Oh, a tablet! There's still writing on it. Oh, it's a poem. Huh, I think it's a love note. Well, I can respond to it. I don't even know what it says. Whoops. I didn't even get a chance. Okay, whatever. I clicked the note and it clicked off. I didn't even get a chance to respond. Ah, this looks like a larger version of some of Balthus's contraptions. This winch must have been attached to some sort of hauling and pulley system. Fascinating. Now that I'm down here, I should see what I can find from the Roman era and before. Oh, bones. Far too big to be human. Too big? No, horns. Looks like a mule to me. Maybe it hauled that winch. Yeah, poor creature dying down here. That's what must have scared Apollo so much. Right. Yeah, you could use manpower to haul it, but you have some livestock, they could do the job as well. Oh, interesting. Piece of pottery. And we've got a cave here. We got a couple different ways in. Let's see if we can pick up all the pottery first, because, you know, I know this game well enough that we might not get to come back once we leave this section. A cave-in. The wood here looks newer than the first part of the mine. Is this collapse recent? I'm glad we're getting to explore this, because while we were Andreas, when we got to explore the old aqueduct and the ruins, that was pretty cool, and this is feeling like a sort of extension of that experience. Whoa! This is pretty extensive. Are we gonna end up creating one big, you know, vase after this? Now, these must be the same kind of figurines Till and the other farmers find in the fields. To think there's so many remnants of our ancestors scattered in fields and caves like this. Hear, hear. I mean, I feel like we talked about this with Till, but yeah, I mean, when you're living on top of ancient civilizations, whether you're talking about the Romans throughout a lot of Europe, or here in the United States, a lot of ancient indigenous civilizations, just around you, you're going to find a lot of these things buried in the ground. Now, there is a lot more professional archaeology done today, but even still, you'll find, you know, an old piece of pottery or an old arrowhead or something that was used by the indigenous people thousands of years ago. You can still find that stuff around riverbeds and fields and all these different places. Especially if it's areas that are being, you know, haven't been developed before, so people haven't looked through. Oh, I see some graffiti. There's a Latin inscription here. Tassia, give me water, or Pluto preserve me. The salt is drying me to earth. Yikes, doesn't sound like working down here was pleasant. Yeah, but, you know, I like the, given it's graffiti, I imagine that was more meant in jest, though the jest, you know, references a very real experience, right? We've definitely talked about Roman graffiti before. Now, there was a lot of Roman graffiti. A lot of it was rather debaucherous, and a lot of it was sort of goofy in the ways that graffiti is today. Now, what is this? Oh, this looks like a Roman map of Tossing. Wonder what's changed. Let's see if I can map everything out. Ashram. Looks like a fort of some sort. Salina, salt. That's the salt mine. Balneum? Don't know what that means. Mithrium? And the aqueduct? Okay. There's an aqueduct and the spring. The abbey was an old fort up on the hill. Right, so that makes sense. And then there's the rest of town. Wait, what's this building? Oh, we got the rest of the town down here. It's sort of covered by the text. I don't recognize it. Mithrium. I don't recognize that word from any of my books. Guys, I don't know it either. Not that I'm much help with Latin. Can't quite tell what it's meant to label on the map. Maybe some sort of temple? Yeah, I can't tell either. So you got the town down here, and then you go over to the salt mine, and then up to the fort, which is the abbey, What is this meant to be as well? Mithrium, Balneum. Well, whatever it is, it's not in tossing now. It's so odd. It's not, I mean, it is, but it's not that crazy. You know, things do tend to disappear over the course of thousands of years. I wonder if the book we have, Historia Tassii, can help us out. Another inscription. It's not very formal. A worker must have carved it. Latius' soul ascended in the Mithrium. My soul will descend in this damned hall of salt. Oh, so maybe it is some sort of temple, it sounds like. Mithrium. I'm trying to think of words that are like Mithrium, but I can't. I'm not landing on anything, so maybe a temple. Christ, that's rough. There's that word again, Mithrium. Must have been important to the Romans. Huh. Very curious, folks. Another pottery piece. We're definitely collecting all the pieces from one big piece of pottery. This almost looks like an altar. But what would an altar be doing in a salt mine? It's even carved out of the salt. Very curious. I wonder if there's more to see in here. Oh yeah, I think we can go further down, can't we? I don't intend on missing anything, folks. As you know, we like our complete things here. Oh yeah, there we go. Huh. I have a lot of these pottery pieces. I should find out if they're all from the same pot. I think they might be. Oh, I see. Oh, God. Oh, no. I can rotate these pieces as well? Okay, well, whatever. This has got to be on the... What is this circle in the middle here? So we've been given one piece the right way up. So let's just orient these correctly. I don't think that's gonna be there. Not there either. I mean, it fits together, but it doesn't seem quite right. Oh, here we go. Things are coming. I'm trying to move this piece out of the way. Guys, the rotating is not easy. We have the legs of a little man. No, this is a big man, I think. Yeah, no. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I feel I was never that good at, like, jigsaw puzzles, but maybe we're getting better. I wish I could take this one off. It's throwing me off. So this has got to go over here. Yep. And then this goes here. And then this goes here, perhaps? One of these guys has got a sword. There we go. Perfect. Hope you guys are entertained by getting to watch me very slowly piece a puzzle together. Oh, man. And this... Oh, here we go. Oh, my goodness. I believe our friend down there has been stabbed. Nope. Oh, yeah, that looks right. This goes here. Well, 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 would you look at that? Not bad. Wait. Well, that's not right at all. Here. Yeah, here we go. That was that first piece I put down. I told you it would throw me off. Perfect. Got it. Huh. Alright, let's take a look at this whole scene. We've got someone who's really big, maybe a god of some sort, and they're like, they've got someone. There's a bunch of animals. A deer, wolves, dogs. Some fellow with a sword out here. And then the same guy or someone different has been stabbed? What's going on? The figures on this pot lid look like they're telling a story. These paintings must depict an early myth, even before the Romans. Oh, that's cool. Huh, let's see. This must be Perkta. Okay. And those must be the forest spirits, part of the wild hunt. Oh, interesting. We've got our pagan goddess here. We learned about these old pieces of folklore. Okay, so Perkta are interesting. Our pagan goddess, I guess probably our defender against the wild hunt, I imagine. No, never mind, flip that. She's leading the wild hunt. I'm glad I went back to check that. So Perkta's not a protector, or maybe she is sometimes, I don't know. Maybe we have got a complex relationship, so she's leading the wild hunt. And then there's someone fighting against it, I guess. Oh god. Next part looks like a human sacrifice. Someone, maybe a chieftain, is sacrificing a man to Perkta. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, interesting. So, someone, maybe a chieftain, is making a human sacrifice to perhaps ward off the wild hunt. Perkta, please don't kill us all. Here's a sacrifice. The bottom half of the lid continues the story. Those look like spirits. They must be coming in to feast on the sacrifice. That must be how our ancestors tried to keep Tossing safe. They offered sacrifices to Perkta. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this would go down well if, we tried to put this in the mural. I'll have to think about it before I decide for certain. Alright, I better keep going before I run out of oil in my lamp. Alright, we've got one last inscription down here. More Latin writing. If we cannot enter the Mithrium, we will make our own altar to the gods. So the Mithrium's definitely a temple of some sort. And maybe the common workers here, or maybe they were slaves. I mean, that's pretty common in the Roman Empire. Perhaps they were blocked entrance into the Mithrium, so started worshipping down here. Sounds like the Mithrium was some kind of temple. Huh, never heard the word before. Won't be able to go any further with all the rubble. Suppose this is as far as I can go. Still, the murals on the wall showed me what Tossing was like when the Romans were here. I wonder if I can find out what the Mithrium was, or where it was, or what it was. And putting the pottery shard back together showed one of the earliest stories of Tossing. I think I've seen everything I can down here, and my oil is running out. Time to climb back out. Interesting. I think our next step is to read the book that we got, Historia Tossii. That's probably our best look. I mean, we've already asked just about everybody in town. I think we've got a pretty good reading of the history. And we're blocked off down here. Yep. I would like to see those old Roman ruins, but I don't think we can go over there again. So either we find someone to tell us about the Mithrium, or we read this book that we've got, which, once again, I think that's our best option. Hopefully we'll be given the prompt to do it now. Alright. Uh-oh. Ah! Oh, God. Wait, who's that? Did someone just attempt to murder us? Hello? Is someone there? The thread puller just tried to kill us! I better get out of the shaft before another rock comes crashing down. Oh my god. Y'all. That's... So, there really was no point asking the twins to help us, because they didn't help, and they left. I might have just used the damn rope. My whole fear was that we'd be left alone with nobody, but... God damn it. Who was that? We were almost murdered. That was an attempted murder. That was not an accident, folks. Even Apollo and Artemis would have helped me out of here. Well, now that I have some information, I can make some decisions on the first section of the mural. I should get back to the Wrath House and get to work. Oh my. Okay. I would still like to get a moment to read that book. You. Yes? I'm Holler Brant, the Lord's gamekeeper. Why are you grazing pigs in the woods? I'm the printer's daughter, Well, that's not my pig. I've been walking around this forest for hours. Other than the charcoal burner and the tinkerer, you're the only other person I've seen. Pig doesn't belong to you. What are you doing here? I was in the salt mine. Doing what? Wait, I don't care. Just tell me whose pig this is. I don't know. The pig was in the woods when I came in here. Mysterious lost pig, who apparently belongs to no one. I suppose so. Jesus. If I find any more pigs in these woods, I'll kill them on the spot. And those who brought them here. Do you understand? Yeah. Good. Mind your neighbors what happens when you break the Lord's laws. Jesus. Sheesh. Well, I checked with the Gertners, and it wasn't theirs. Nothing to say, huh? Hey, why'd you guys leave me over there? Okay, there is Magdalene. You gotta start asking some more questions, my friend. Someone legit just tried to kill you. That's what happened there. That was no accident. Oh, hey. Clara. Magdalene, dear. Hello, Clara. Thanks again for helping me look after the house. Can't tell you how much time this gives me to work on the mural. Oh, it's no trouble. You have your hands full as it is. I know my dad really enjoys the company while I'm working, too. Ah, yes. He sleeps most of the day, but he's been in good spirits whenever I drop in on him. You two keep a clean house, too. Well, aside from the workshop, but I can't blame you for that. I've left that for you to take care of. I don't want to damage your supplies. Thank you, Clara. Truly, you've been such a blessing to us both. Oh, you're such a dear, Magdalene. God bless you. Well, there you go. That's nice. I don't want to sleep. I would like to sit down and read Historia Tassii. I'm not sure how to do that. I think we're gonna check in on old Klaus. I doubt he'll have much to say, but we'll just make sure. All right. And then we're gonna end this episode here. It gets dark. I'm speaking in real life, not in the game. It gets dark so early these days. That's just how it is. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all again next time. Hope you're all having a great day. Goodbye.